So this last week, I've been talking about fashion, white supremacy, and wearing suits as it relates to Hasan Piker. I made this video, Hasan Piker and Charlemagne collab, guilty by association or just guilty. Then people started writing comments, suits are a symbol of fascism? You are deranged. And I can see everyone's like subscriber history and comment history, which I know all of us can or should be able to. And this is like a Bernie bro, and they all follow all the liberals on YouTube. And they're like, white supremacy is when you wear a suit. Wearing suits is a symbol of white supremacy. This is such a stupid thing to say. And then I was like, and they're like, Brittany, Simon, this is kind of a reach, to be honest. Everyone wears suits across every industry. It doesn't stand for anything other than looking professional. What about all the black men who wear suits? Are they all white supremacists as well? It's like you're not even trying. It's like you're not even trying to use 1% of your brain. That's how it feels when I read comments like this. It's like you're not even attempting. You are fully admitting you've never read a book. You've never watched a YouTube video. You know nothing about anything. And you have the audacity to show up in my comments and argue with each other about I don't know anything. And even when I send links to people to what to read, they're like, I don't think so. Even this person who is good faith or whatever says, I disagree that Hasan, wears suits because of white supremacy. I think it's more of a, look, I'm a serious guy and not some random ass Twitch streamer, right? Like, guys.
Are you trying to
I know more than you. Look, I don't always know more than you, but I promise you, I know more than you when it comes to this because of the way you're leaving comments in my comment section. Fascists, first of all, love fashion. They are fashionistas. And second of all, fashion is political. Fashion is political. Look at this. In case you need a man, this is the thing. This is the thing about being a femme on the internet is I have to use men to prove my point for me, including the man you're so willing to defend at every cost. Here's Hasan Piker talking about fascism in suits.
Are you trying to reclaim suits from white supremacists?
A little.
Boom! Are you trying to reclaim suits for white supremacists? Because white supremacists have been using suits to signal who they are for the last forever. Okay? That's the point. Lock in.
Are you trying to reclaim suits from white supremacists?
A little bit. I think Zoran definitely was impactful in that decision too. But the real reason why I do it is because I got clipped so much on Fox News that I was like, if I'm wearing a suit while I'm saying the things I'm saying, those grandmothers are probably going to be...
Those white supremacist grandmothers, those racist, bigoted, transphobic, anti-black grandmothers...
much more receptive, and it's literally worked.
There literally has been a positive impact of the suiting in terms of the things you say being accepted by more like mainstream America.
Yes, 100%. We're lizard brain people, man. At the end of the day, I think like when they see something that they find to be appealing, they lock in on it. They're far more receptive to what I have to say if I'm wearing a suit when I'm...
Boom! Why do you doubt me? Because you think you're smarter than me? Well, you don't even know what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. Hasan is signaling to white supremacists because he wants to, quote, win them over. And I'm saying, not interested. I am a queer person who is philosophically queer. I am not interested in white supremacy approving of my fashion, nor am I interested in making white supremacists feel comfortable. But you do you, Hasan.
Saying it.
Are you ever going to run for office?
Fuck no.
Why not?
Everybody always says this. Since I started wearing the suits, especially...
You look the part, dog.
Yeah, since I started wearing the suits, everyone's like, you're running for office. I'm like, no, I'm not. The serious response to it is like, I have so much more opportunity to promote people that come from this background that have put in the work for years and years within, Democratic Socialists of America and numerous other organizations, that I can be beneficial to like 50 races at the same time, as opposed to trying to run and maybe losing in one race. You know what I mean?
You're saying all races matter?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You think that I'm absurd for being...
Here's a look. One of my favorite philosophers and trans icon.
You think that I'm absurd for being this? But isn't it absurd that you're afraid of colors? Isn't it like tragic that you think that if you have two prints that don't go along, you're gonna melt? Power clashing is not an aesthetic, it's a way of living. It's actually about saying all these things, all these rules, they're not reality. Why would I take my style advice from patriarchy?
Or in some situations, white supremacy. Now look, Discord said respectability politics 101. If Hasan Piker is making the decision, and you are hearing him say, I am making a decision to signal to white supremacy. Yes, not in favor of white supremacy, but I am trying to make white supremacists feel safe. That's what I'm saying about suits having a connection to white supremacy. And of course, there's a history to it. Okay. We know this with all of the protests that had happened with white nationalists, how far right groups are using fashion symbols. Whoops. Hello. Go away ad. Oh my gosh. How far right groups are using fashion symbols to recruit the youth, right? We know fascists use fashion. You know, if you look a certain particular way, that is going to be a signal, right? Here's Pepe. It's going to be a signal, right? Whether we like it or not, some of our favorite fashion icon. Look at these boots getting co-opted by the right. Okay. Whether we like it or not, okay, there is a look. And that look is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying Hasan can't wear suits. Okay. I'm not saying that. Discord said, now I want to hear you say in a Jersey accent, what do you think, you're smarter than me? You think you're smarter than me? Like, this is the problem I'm having, where I understand, listen, and may this be my reputation. May my reputation be, not only do I know more than you, but I know when I don't know. And I have the humility to go, I don't know about that. Tell me more. Because I am not in this alone. I don't do this alone. I do this with a collective, with a group, with a community. It's not just about me. I'm not the main character. We are the main character. Okay? Because our lives are at stake. Well, Hasan Piker is literally making millions, quote unquote, championing for us. He's also making millions appealing to white supremacists on Fox News, which is why when he has conversations with old white MAGA grandmas from the Necessary Conversation, which I think is a bullshit podcast, supporting and promoting white supremacist ideas and MAGA ideas to make money off of us, it's disgusting. Well, he plays fun with them. It is just a direct threat to our relationship and existence. He's literally making friends. They are literally saying, we love Hasan Piker. He's our friend, while still voting against all of our civil rights. And then he's just sitting here going like, oh, I love them. They're so cute, dude. They're like, great. I love them. It's like, bro, listen to me. I will be kind to my MAGA neighbors, meaning I will feed you and I will clothe you and I will not ask you who you voted for. But we are working. They are working. Those podcasters are not your neighbors. They're working. They're networking. They are building off your audience. You just converted to, let's say, 2% of your audience, Hasan, into their daily viewers. You just put money directly into fascist hands. What are you doing? What are you doing? How does that make sense? If those were my parents, absolutely not. If those were my parents, why would I subject my audience to my parents' bigotry? Why would I do that? That's why I don't trust those kids, because why would you do this to your parents? You can have these necessary conversations at home, in private. Okay. So we know fashion sends a message, whether you like it or not. Khakis and polo shirts are out, girls. We can't be seen wearing them, okay? Okay? So for Hasan Piker to say with his full chest, oh yeah, it's working. These grandmas think I'm more respectable. That's my point. You better learn to respect me or nothing. I remember when, I wasn't going to talk about this, but now let me find a picture. Do you remember when Beyonce and the Chicks performed at the Country Music Awards? And it was like an amazing experience. The song was amazing. Everything was amazing. I remember trying to show this to conservatives because I was like, look how good Beyonce is. And they're like, I don't like her outfit. I don't like the way she looks. I think it's too revealing. Have you seen Dolly Parton? Have you seen Dolly Parton? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're living in a world where people can't fathom or imagine that anything the people they decided they don't like that they can't imagine that anybody they decided they don't like already is doing anything that would make them say, oh, I like it. Like, you hate Beyonce so much, you won't even like anything she does, but not because she's a billionaire and not because she hangs out with Ivanka Trump, but because, or was seen with Ivanka Trump at a charity dinner, but because she's Black. So in my comment section, because I'm a good faith girly, I posted this clip. Okay, Stanford Social Innovation Review. Okay, it's a really short read. I know it looks long, but it's not. It's a pretty short read. Most of these are comments, which are fun to read as well. But it's a really short read about how white supremacy plays into how the bias of professionalism standards are a play into white supremacy. And this is my point, that Hasan is playing this game. And this is the problem. I tell you right now, if his name was Jake, you would never know he was a Muslim. You would think he was some boy born in wherever. And that's the point. The point is, okay, do you know what white passing means? White passing didn't mean passing for white. White passing meant people who try to remove themselves or separate themselves furthest from being a marginalized person of color, black person. It was meant to represent minority people who deny their blackness or deny so not that Hasan is doing that, because Hasan openly says he's a Muslim. He openly says he's from Turkey. He openly says things. It's to say though, that when he, in my mind, says I am fully engaging by wearing suits and I'm fully engaging by wearing suits that white people will like, I am, in many ways, he is white passing. And so there is something about that to me that I feel like is really icky, because again, like he could have worn, I don't know, a more interesting tie or some colors or something interesting. Like he could have, I don't know, Turkeyed it up. Isn't there something in Turkey he could have like worn that was more, you know what I'm saying? Isn't there something like interesting we could have done here instead of just fully saying like, oh yeah, I want moms on Fox News to think I'm not a threat to them, or grandmas on Fox News. Like, you mean racist white women? Like, what are we talking about here? What is the point of that? Like, he has a Palestine pin. I believe that's a Palestine pin, and that's great, but it's too subtle. I don't appreciate the subtle. I don't like it. I don't think it should be subtle. Now, going back to white supremacist haircuts and everything like this became a very big look. Remember when Malcolm Moore was told you better change your haircut because it looks like a white nationalist haircut? It's because the boys love pristine fashion. They have it here. Here's a story about Malcolm Moore. Remember, during the 2010s, the American and Israeli press associated the undercut with alt-right agitators, such as the American white supremacist Richard Spencer, or British far-right and anti-Islam activist Tommy Robinson. So you'll remember... Loading. Here, Macklemore had to address his haircut as it maybe looked like something a white nationalist would have. Okay, so let me go here. Oh, let me go here. Okay, so here's Tommy Robinson. You probably know him. Okay, he's the worst little agitator, this man. Okay, look at his haircut.
I mean, come on.
Oops, ignore that. Nope, ignore Anthony. Just not yet. We're not ready for that.
We take you to...
Oh, ignore that. Okay, let me scroll. Nope, ignore that. Hold on, I have too many tabs open. Richard Spencer, here we go. Okay, remember Richard Spencer, the Hail Hitler guy? Remember when that happened? Okay, this is why hair matters, fashion matters, and matters what you look like. Okay, don't piss me off right now. Brother in Christ. Hold on, let me see if I can do it before it adds me. Damn it! Fine. Okay. Let's go here. Ignore everything. Okay. Let me see if they show me another picture. Actually, no. Watch me do this. Hold on. Watch me make a decision. Here we go. Okay. So if you just Google, too, the fashion of it all, there's something about, let me do this, the pristine aesthetic. If you just white nationalist suits, there's always this look, this particular look. Do you see it with Richard Spencer? This particular look. Okay. And I'm saying we have to pay attention to that because it's not on accident that people expect people to look a particular way. It's not an accident that they look really, really crisp or really, really specific, okay? Now, hold on. Give me a second. Hold on. I have too many tabs open. Give me a second. Let me switch tabs. Let me bring out this tab, which is a bunch of other things I want to show you. Uno momento. Okay, do you guys have any questions, by the way? I don't mean to ignore chat. Any questions? Let me scroll. Brittany, is it wrong to just be a boring dresser? I love khakis and polos. Do you have to change just because something terrible wears something? So okay. You don't have to do anything, right? Like a reminder, I am not telling you to do anything. I'm not making a prescription. I'm not telling you anything. I'm saying, just so you know, the way you look can be political, is political, and somebody might think you're a fucking white supremacist if you have a white supremacist fucking haircut. The same way somebody might think you're a white supremacist if you have a Nazi tattoo. Okay? And I'm saying you don't have to do anything about it, but that's why people might be looking at you funny at the grocery store. And it's probably because they're not sure if you're about to Hail Hitler on them standing next to the oranges. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, we all should see punk culture, rebellious culture, queer culture, symbolism as what it is. Okay? It's a point, it's a statement. Okay? So I'm just saying, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm saying just so you know. And then you can make a decision. I had one of my brothers was using one of the emojis that I was like, hey, don't use that emoji. That emoji is like white supremacist. And he was like, oh shit. And then he just changed. Like, you can do it, but it's white supremacist. Don't do it. You know what I mean? Because again, you might say, but it's an emoji and it's on my phone. And would it be there if it wasn't white supremacist? It doesn't matter, because online communities take the emojis. It doesn't matter. Okay. Like, the nail sign too, how like people use it for gay, or they use it even derogatory. They use it like zesty, like derogatory, like they're calling you gay. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter. The question is, who are you using it with? Are you all reading it the same way? Is it derogatory? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I'm saying, just pay attention. Just think about what you're doing. Like, think about what you think is funny. Like, think about why you think certain things are, how they came to be. And this is why I say what happens on the internet matters. Like the OK sign, we've been talking about the white power sign. It might have started as a meme, but it turned into a dog whistle for white supremacy, which even the administration picked up. So again, when we have these conversations, I want you to tell people, call it out, get people to see it as fast as possible. Because what is a funny joke between two boys, they're stupid. Like, the world is a stupid place. Everybody is stupid, and I'm stupid and you're stupid. And we need to help each other be less stupid. And we have to be open to being receptive to the fact that maybe we're being stupid right now. My bad, dude. I'm sorry. I'm being stupid. I don't know why I'm fighting you on this. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? So if you just look up the history of suits, there's a lot of really amazing videos on the internet about the complete history of the suit. A lot of them don't talk enough about the white supremacist connection because it's not fashion interesting, but it always involves royals. It always involves rich people trying to, prove their status. It always, you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying you can wear a suit. Just think about how you're wearing the suit. That's why gay suits exist. That's why people have gay fashion, but suits.
Conversely, a bit of a stickler that you had to be, you wouldn't go to Ascot in something you go shooting in.
And then, like he just said, you wouldn't go here in clothes you would shoot in. They had shooting clothes. And that's a sign of wealth too, having multiple outfits for multiple times of the day. Oh, here's my shooting clothes. Here's my going out evening dress. This is also a point of status symboling. Because that's what you're doing. You're symboling, you're saying, I have status, I have money. Look at all these clothes I have. This idea of I don't wear clothes more than once, or I have a $10,000 suit. Like, when people can't even pay groceries, like, yeah, it's a status symbol.
You wouldn't go on your yacht.
Which is why Fetterman was so malicious, really, wearing a hoodie all the time, because he acted like he was one of the bros while also having to fund Israel. But that's why Fetterman's campaign worked so well, because he was like, the guy in the hoodie, like, chill, bro. But then he wore it as a costume. That's the idea, is like, are you wearing a costume right now? That's my question. Is this a costume or is this who you are?
With something you go riding in. But he's a great character we could talk something about. Edward VII, or Prince of Wales, as he was for quite a long time.
And he was the Prince of Wales who gave us the Prince of Wales check, I believe.
No, that's what's believed, yeah.
Okay.
You know what they call it, Glenurquhart these
Yes.
days. Yeah.
Because again, he's often because, what was it, his great-great-grandson, Duke of Windsor, who's also Prince of Wales, wore the similar check. Yes, you often read it's associated to him, but actually in the 19th century, he was the one that gave us what we now call Prince of Wales check.
Confusingly, he was.
I actually just learned too that Croatia apparently is maybe the creator of the cravat. So fun. Dobar dan. That's so I was like, oh my God, Croatia, look at us, So again, there's something here about the history of, I'm not saying you can't wear a suit. I'm not saying you can't dress cool in a suit. I'm saying be careful of the type of suit you have, just like a haircut. Like, be careful of the haircut you have. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Okay, now this is the scandalous history of the tuxedo. I want to point something out here.
If you're going to a fancy wedding during the daytime, this is what would be required.
So the daytime has different clothing, the evening
This
time.
cutaway style is not just for morning dress. It can be worn throughout the day in less formal fabrics, but those are the three major cuts.
Okay, look at her fashion. She is wearing a suit jacket, but she's not signaling to white supremacy because she has green in her hair and she has a goth aesthetic. She's signaling safety to goth communities, queer communities. I'm getting a lot of like, you know, safety of makeup as well. She doesn't dress in the modest kind of no makeup look. That's why I stay away from words like clean girl aesthetic because they have ties to white supremacy. She is signaling a lot of really positive things while wearing a suit jacket.
That we see for day wear. For evening wear, if we're talking about a formal evening attire, that's where the tailcoat comes in. And this style was the prevalent cut for decades leading up to that 1860s point, and it sort of gets relegated to just formal wear as well as servants' attire. There's also completely informal evening wear, but that is on the extreme side. Things like lounge coats. Think the smoking jacket of today, which is called a smoking jacket in the latter 19th century as well. And this is the most laid back and casual. This is not to be worn in mixed company. This is not to be worn in formal or even really informal situations. It is the most casual of lounging. You might have noticed that this sort of leaves a gap. In the evening attire, unless you're just wearing your daytime clothing, which for the very wealthy, the very fashionable, doesn't really make sense, you're stuck with either very formal or very informal, and there's nothing really in between. So that is where this new garment starts to come in. Its origins trace back supposedly to the Prince of Wales, Prince Albert, and he was known for being pretty fashionable in his day. And in 1865, he had Henry Poole and Company, which was the premier tailor in London at the time, make him a blue silk smoking jacket with silk collar and cuffs. They still have this in their record book, so we know that this was made with a matching pair of trousers. And supposedly, during the next roughly 20 years, this particular style of garment meant for something in between informal and formal situations in the evening was starting to take on a very distinct life of its own. In 1868, Harper's Bazaar wrote, "An effort is being made in England to alter the whole character of evening attire, taking away its resemblance to a livery and making it more varied. The design is a coat with a broad collar rolling low and meeting the front edge of the skirt, variety velvet and rich blue cloth with mounted gilt buttons. If this style is adopted abroad, it will soon become popular here, as gentlemen have long been weary of the monotonous and somber dress prescribed for them on the most joyous occasions." So while the record in Henry Poole's book isn't overly descriptive of something beyond a smoking jacket, if we start to put it in the context of this description, this is the beginnings of the garment we would eventually come to know. The description, though much longer here, is still fairly vague. It doesn't give us the exact cut of the coat, nor does it give us all of the trimmings and decor, but we start to see evidence of this potential competition to evening attire showing up in.
Okay, so now we're building a picture of all of it is about status, what is symbols, time of day, accessibility to garments, being able to even put in the order, people of wealthy status, fashionable for a time. All of these layers play into it. I always think it's about quality of fabric, and I think there's something about the way you show up looking well put together. That's kind of how I think we should think about professionalism over this idea that it has to be the most expensive or the most flashy. Also, remember that story about that news host who wore the same suit every day on air for like a year to prove that his female counterparts couldn't get away with the same thing? Because these women they're always like, people are always emailing about their clothes. They're always like saying, why'd you wear the same thing more than once? Like, women are held to completely different standards as well of professionalism, including on the news or daytime shows. So there's layers to this. Now, let me see. My Discord shared this and says, here's an example. Let's see here, of not giving into white supremacy. Loading. Let's see. I think I might get copyrighted for this. Okay, let's see. Nice. And matches the, okay, nice. But you see here, in order to pull this off, you would have to have style. And I don't think our boy, Hasan Piker has fashion style. which I'll get into in a minute. But I think that's the problem. I think in order to pull this kind of stuff off, oh my God, is that an ad? You would actually have to be fashionable. And I don't think he is. I think he is, and this might be his autism. I will give him some leeway for this. This actually might be autism, ADHD. As an autistic girly, I always struggle with like my style. And also, of course, I have to be responsible with how I spend my money. I was so into everything I was wearing in my 20s. I'm in a lull period myself because of money. But you bet when I get money, okay? Right? Because at the end of the day, things cost money. So I'm in my gym era where I basically just wear gym clothes and I work out. And that's like who and what I am. But with that said, Hasan is a trending girly. He just does whatever's trending. Okay, this article came out in Cosmopolitan. We remember this era of Hasan. Hasan doesn't know who he is, and that's the problem. The problem is he only started wearing suits because of the way people talked about him. He is a follower. He doesn't know who he is. He hasn't gone to therapy. He doesn't introspect. He doesn't have a day off. He is just doing whatever people say. If they're like, Hasan, you look hot doing this, he's going to do that. Hasan, you look responsible doing this. He's like, oh, I'm going to do that. He doesn't know who he is. Okay. So this era of Hasan was very specific. Okay. This is absolutely Tumblr Hasan. Like this, you know, and I get it. I like trending stuff too. He started painting his nails because that's what people were doing. But it's not who he is. Like, this isn't Hasan. He doesn't know who he is yet. And that's okay. It takes a long time to know who you are. But I'm saying that's why you have to work on it. Because, like, you know? And I'm just saying, like, this is still happening with suits right now. The suits look better, by the way. The suits do look better than this whole, whatever this was, hipster era. Okay? And so at least the suits are a better upgrade. But remember, this also connects to who Hasan Piker is. And I want you to remember this. He is a fuckboy. He's a fuckboy, handsome boy who got picked because you guys haven't decentered men. And if you really pay attention to who he is, he should never have been the guy. And I'm not saying this because, listen, I understand that Republicans and conservatives and Democrats and Ethan Klein are going for Hasan. But just because they're weaponizing things that are untrue and true of him and mixing the truth doesn't mean he isn't problematic. Do you know what I mean? I am telling you right now, I don't know. You know, and again, this is for the girlies. This is for serious people. This is my commentary. It is for serious people because I don't have time to argue with. Doesn't Ethan Klein say that? Who cares what Ethan Klein is saying? Who cares what conservatives are saying? I'm saying it. And I'm sick of you not holding people accountable because your cult enemies are saying it. In this interview with Cosmopolitan, the writer, I think Hannah's her name, says, before we head to the highlight room against his publicist's wishes, Piker pulls out his phone to show me examples of his impact via Snapchat DM fans, sending them wearing his merch. A black t-shirt he designed that says racism, bigotry, patriarchy, white supremacy, inequality, oppression, intolerance, and injustice. On it, in white letters, each word crossed out. Funny that white supremacy is crossed out, but he just admitted current day Hasan is appealing to white supremacy. Okay, crossed out in red. He sold nearly 2,000 of them so far. It's so dope, he says, opening Snapchat. I don't know if any of these are nudes, he said. Don't judge me. The first one is a nude. He reads the message to chat out loud. I'm sure you have hot girls throwing themselves at you all the time, but I'm a huge fan of TYT and love your work. As promised, there are photos in his inbox of fans wearing the shirt, but it's about 70% nudes. Whoa, that's crazy, he says, methodically opening each message. That was like actually her blowing someone. I don't like talk to any of these people. That's butt stuff. Cool. The next day, Hasan jokes that his career will be over when my article comes out. Maybe he said too much, showed me one too many Snapchat DMs. But a few months later, in February 2018, he doesn't seem too worried about his personal persona, tweeting, this Valentine's Day, I encourage every conservative pundit to eat ass and get their ass eaten, and might help them loosen up a bit. It's 2018, and we've already moved on to spitting in mouths, but y'all can try that shit. Wait, you can't. but y'all can try that 2017 shit. This is why I'll never be hired by mainstream outlets. Okay, so now he's playing I Wear a Suit Hasan. Okay, so now he's playing this Hasan. Okay, that was an older Hasan. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're getting Snapchat messages, girls, I shut this down right away. If I get a nude from someone, I block them. The fact that Hasan isn't blocking them, saying that's so frustrating, I'm so annoyed by that, it's gross. Please don't send me videos of you guys blowing people. Like, what are you doing? Don't send me videos of your tits. But you know what I'm saying? He is just a dude, bro. And I'm saying this right now. That's why I'm frustrated, because like, why aren't we talking about this? And look, maybe he's hardcore changed his policy, but even recent interviews with Brittany Broski, he literally said, I encourage people to send me nudes. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, I know Republicans are trying to weaponize sex against him, but guys, just, fuck the Republicans. This is serious. Rape culture is so fucking real. And I don't know why we're ignoring it because of what? I want him to come out and say, give me a video. Send me a video of Hasan Piker scolding his fans and saying to them, if you seriously care about fascism, you will not send me nudes. Like, show me videos. Countless times Hasan has said, give me videos of him shutting it down aggressively and seriously to the point where these girls feel ashamed. And I don't see one more girl on TikTok talking about how maybe if Hasan sees this. I'm sick of it. Okay, I'm absolutely sick of it. And then on top of that, he's literally talking about, women appealing to, and I get it, like collages like this will come out and people will be like, oh, those are from Hasan's ops. It doesn't matter who it's from. They're from Hasan's mouth. That's what I'm saying. I don't care who made the video. It's coming from his mouth. So unless this is completely out of context, it's his mouth. You know what I mean? His ops have no jobs. His ops need to get a life. His ops also need to go to therapy. But why am I seeing this?
I mean, come on. There's got to be moments in your life where even you've shown like naked pictures of a friend or something to another.
You have like nothing to hide, huh, Hasan?
What?
You can just so confidently give her your phone.
Oh no, I saw some shit I should not have seen and I feel very bad, but it's okay.
Wait, what did you see?
Stuff.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're
What
talking about.
is that?
What?
And look, I get it. These compilations are made by people who hate Hasan, but that's the point. The point is all these girls are with him. All of them know he has nudes of people. He's showing nudes, and I'm saying, stop. You know what I mean? Chat says, so he's being sent things against his will. It's his fault. No, it's not against his will. It's with his encouragement. There's the difference. He's not taking down he's not taking down the Snapchat. He's not making it clear to people. He just did a photo shoot with Days, which was a nice photo shoot in general, but it's very like he's sexy. It's very lay on the bed. You know what I mean? It's very like, I'm Hasan Piker, look at me. And I'm saying, hey, even as a sex worker, I don't let people send me nudes. I'm a sex worker and I don't let people send me nudes. You're not allowed to. If you send me nudes, I block you. He's not even a sex worker, but he's playing one only without any of the stigma. Once again, because he always gets to play everything without the stigma. He just did this Dazed shoot, him laying in bed. He looks good. A lot of these are fine, but it's it's supposed to be sexy. Do you know what I'm saying? Why are you doing sexy shoots? Are you fighting fascism and caring about people having a you know what I mean? I would never mix in my activism for Palestine with my sex work. These are separate things, unless I'm advocating for sex work Palestinians. But these are separate things. You know what I'm saying? And he mixes them. And I'm saying, why are you mixing sexy fuckable Hasan with advocacy for a genocide? Why are you mixing your two worlds? You know what I'm saying? It feels weird. And that's because it takes a long time to realize this, like, hey, be serious, but this is what I'm saying, like laying on the bed, doing like, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me see. Okay, like this, it's not to say Hasan is ugly. It's to say that why? Like, this one's appropriate. This one's appropriate. This one's fine. I mean, again, it's fine. But like this one, inappropriate. There was one more that was inappropriate. The one where he's like holding his own neck. Again, which one do you want to be? Because again, there is a way to be sexy and strong. There is a way to do it, but it has to be balanced with your ethics. And I'm saying if there's no balance with the ethics, okay? It's not to say that he can't do a photo shoot. It's to say, where's the balance? So when he goes on to say this,
Are you trying to reclaim suits from white supremacists?
A little bit. I think Zoran definitely was impactful in that decision too. But
Zoran is a politician. Politicians wear suits, and there's something about that. You're not a politician. Aren't you just a guy? Do you know what I'm saying? So which one is it? Are you a politician or are you just a guy? Are you trying to be an adult or are you not trying to be? It's like he's a kid playing house, but it all connects to signaling to white supremacy because he didn't even choose suits that were a little rebellious. You can break every rule in the book and you're not even breaking it because he isn't a radical.
real reason why I do it is because I got clipped so much on Fox News that I was like, if I'm wearing a suit while I'm saying the things I'm saying, those grandmothers are probably going to be much more receptive. And it's literally worked.
There literally has been a positive impact of the suiting in terms of the things you say being accepted by more like mainstream America.
Yes. 100%. We're lizard brain people, man. At the end of the day, I think like when they see something that they find to be appealing, they lock in on it. They're far more receptive to what I have to say if I'm wearing a suit when I'm saying it.
Are you ever going to run for office?
Fuck no.
Why not?
Everybody always says this.
He probably couldn't run for office in the sense that he doesn't know what he's doing. It's too much work. He hasn't really worked in public office. He hasn't really done the work to work in public office. So again, when I see videos like this, because guys, what is the point of the suit for white supremacists? It's to talk about dominance. It's to say that poor people aren't as good as us, as moral as us. If pretty privilege makes you think people who are pretty are more ethical, which is true, they've done studies on this, then he's playing into that narrative. He's playing into a narrative he admits to himself that allows him to be seen as better than he is, to appeal to people, to move a movement forward, even if it comes at the expense of other people, because that's the point. So white supremacists do this too. I remember even in the UK, there was like this whole thing about the election where it showed like working class people against Republican or like conservatives. And it was like suits versus regular clothes. And they do that in the United States too, because what if you're a person who can't afford a suit? And then you can't afford a fitted suit, and then you can't afford a nice suit. And then this is why they made fun of Zelensky in the White House. They made fun of Zelensky because he wasn't in a suit. Do you even own a suit? Do you guys remember this? It's all connected. So when Hasan says, oh, I'm going to start wearing a suit to appeal to white supremacist grandmas on Fox News, okay? So again, don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? And then Hasan saying it with his full chest should have been enough for you. Okay, this Cosmopolitan interview, not aging well, should have been a point for you. But it isn't, because you just want to say that Hasan can never be wrong and he's always perfect because you're too busy thinking he's going to be the one to save us from fascism. Okay, now, to make my point a little bit more clear, there's also a specific aesthetic that I call NPR aesthetic that he is also aiming to go towards. And this is highlighted in, hold on, I did not bring it up. So let me go pull it up really fast. Hasan, oopsies, hold on, ignore that. Hasan Piker interview. Not this one, not this one, not this one, not this one. Oh my God, he has been everywhere. This one's a good one. Okay, this is an example I can use. Wasn't even the one I was thinking about, but it works. Okay, you see this fit he has on? Where he's got the hat with the suit and tie? Okay, right? It's this. Okay, he's doing this thing. It's NPR, this fucking, you know what I'm saying? Okay, it can work sometimes, but it is a specific look. Okay, this is a good example. Okay, it's like this. It's like this white supremacist club, Ivy League, frat, weird fucking white supremacist shit. Okay, hold on. Jamel does it as well. Jamel's black, so that's why I want to use him as an example. He does it as well. He looks really good. There's nothing, I'm not saying he's not good looking. Again, he's handsome, but also, it's a very specific look that plays really well with certain people. It's fine. At least Jamel spices it up with some color. At least he does it, but it looks a little bit like he golfs. It does look a little bit like Jamel golfs. And then that makes me go, golfing also feels white supremacist. I'm going to say it. Golfing is also white supremacist. You know what I mean? So at least he has color. At least he has aesthetic to it. But again, When we have these conversations, they don't happen in a vacuum. Okay. None of this stuff is happening in a vacuum, and everybody should know this. Like, everyone should know this. This is on purpose. And out of all the decisions this millionaire could have made, why this one? And I say millionaire because he can afford to look any way he wants. You can look any way you want, and this is what you chose. A lot of us are limited by our budget. What are you limited by? Probably not having enough gay friends, honestly, queer friends to help him, you know? But it's like, what is this? Okay. Again, I know a lot of people are like, this is crazy. This is a far reach, Brittany. But it's not, because he admitted it himself. He's absolutely doing it on purpose. Now, this also plays into white women and white supremacy, because remember, capitalism, white supremacy, and patriarchy, the big three, okay? So then we have, if you guys have any questions, guys, highlight my name or something, because I'm not paying attention to chat. But if you have any questions, I can answer them. And we do philosophy through pop culture here. So when you think about this philosophically, we're thinking about the greater meaning, especially being a public figure, especially having a microphone, especially knowing people are watching you, which is different, okay? So here's this. The other day I talked about anti-Blackness as it relates to the female form. And I talked about how growing up as a kid, I was always, because I'm Assyrian, I'm West Asian, I'm in this really weird position where I'm not white enough to be with my white girlfriends. I'll never look like them. I'll never have their bodies. I'll never have their proportions. But I'm not black or brown in the way that I'm clocked right away. But I'm always like kind of seen as like what's going on there. You know what I mean? So growing up, if my friends and I were playing games as kids, I was always like, you know, if the TV show was like a black girl and a white girl, I was the black girl, because obviously my white friends were going to play the black girl. And then obviously Brittany would, because she had curly hair and she had proportions and it matched, and she was aggressive and a Taurus. And that was so stereotypical for black characters. Okay. So then I internalized a lot of black people, really black women in particular, really gave me my confidence growing up, because they were my teachers in many ways, taught me to do my hair, take care of my skin, all that stuff. That plays into, though, boobs, the chest. So the chest on a woman or girl, when she develops too quickly and she's got bigger breasts from a young age, we're sexualized and objectified. Our bodies are seen as more adult. You know, we have all of these things. My white friends who are flat chested with no butt got childhood a lot longer than I did, right? And on top of having a childhood longer than I did, they also got the benefit of the doubt that they were classier because of the way that clothes fit them. When clothes fit me, I got pinned as a slut from a very early age, which I ended up going aggressively into because I felt like I had no choice. And also, to be fair, it was a part of my liberation out of conservatism. I learned to have a healthier relationship with it. I went through my liberal stage, and I went through my, pick me stage, and I went through all of these stages of deconstructing my body. But when we look at high fashion for white women and we connect it to white supremacy, we're also looking at the daintiness of their figure, the flat chestedness of their figure, the way they wear a suit, the way they're admired. Princess Diana had great fashion, but she also had the benefit of being a very, like a smaller chest person. Her proportions were very specific. She pulled off suits in a very specific, like, humility way. She would never be called slutty. That's not what she would be called. She had almost a boyishness to her. Her short hair helped with that. She also, she was very well liked. She was a big advocate. She had a lot of good things going for her. And she also could pull off not only this feminized version of a suit, but this also very boyish, outdoorsy, to be trusted kind of aesthetic you see here, which I love this aesthetic, but I could never make it work because of my hips and my boobs. But I love it. Girlies, if I ever get my boobs removed, let you just know I'm going to start looking like this every day. Okay? But I also, at the same time, know that it signals kind of quiet wealth to some people, a very specific look, a very specific aesthetic. So I also want to be careful there, because I know there became this obsession online about signaling quiet wealth. And I think we have to be careful. Look, I get it. There's something about this, but it also looks like the girl owns 10 horses. And we know that means you are wealthy. So again, the way you signal, the way you look, like the way you have these conversations, it's very interesting, but this look in particular, this one in particular, you know what I'm saying? It's like there is a signal here of wealth and white supremacy and daintiness and all of these things, okay? So it is very interesting. And I can get the aspiration of wanting to be a certain type of person, but this is what I'm saying about be careful about your willingness to signal to white supremacy. You know what I mean? there's layers to this. It's very nuanced, but I'm trying to make a point that whether you like it or not, especially if you're trapped in a bubble where you have to perform like Princess Di was, it means that you don't always get to pick and choose. I mean, look at Meghan Markle. Look at what they do to Meghan Markle. Look at what they do to Meghan Markle for no fucking reason other than she's black, okay? Look at the way they go for her. Like you could say what you want about her, but she will never be good enough to this bubble. They will never like her or embrace her because she is black. I'm telling you. Okay? Right? This is important. Chad, I'm going to block you because you're so fucking unserious. You said maybe don't bring up a Zionist like Bowie. Who is that? Bowie? Bougie? Bowie? Who are you talking about? As comparison when criticizing a pro-Palestinian guy? First of all, Hasan being pro-Palestine doesn't allow him to get away with anything else. Period. Okay? You do this all the time. You act like being pro-Palestine, which should be the basic, automatically doesn't allow anyone to criticize people. This is why you let Tucker Carlson in the with you guys in the tent, because you think all of a sudden he's allowed. No, fuck Tucker Carlson. Fuck all these boys. Okay, being pro-Palestine is great. It's the basics. You should have done it without me trying to ask you to. Okay, we all should have just done it automatically, right? Okay, now look at Meghan Markle. She tries, bro. She does. She plays a little game. She tries to play the game. They force her to in a big way. That's why I'm kind of glad they got out. And also this whole royal family thing, that's fucking white supremacist too. What are we talking about here? Like, they just hate Meghan Markle. They hate everything about her. Nobody's in her court. Like, again, you don't have to like her, but you know for a fact you hate her because of what? Like, don't act like you know her enough to hate her either. You know what I mean? And so again, like when we look at this and we think about this bubble and we think about what she had to do to even be slightly accepted by this bubble, it's like you have to hate yourself to be in this bubble, which we know Hasan hates himself because he talks about it all the time. And that's what I'm saying. Ethan Klein hates himself too. Don't get it twisted. Guys, I don't know when you're going to accept. Destiny hates himself. Vosh hates himself. Hasan hates himself. Ethan hates himself. All these boys hate themselves. That's why they spend all of their life and all of their money and all of their wealth on doing absolutely nothing about getting better. Absolutely nothing about investing in their health. And then it ends up becoming a problem for their communities. All of these boys have major problems. They talk about it openly on stream and everybody just writes it off like it isn't a big deal and it isn't impacting the way they make content or the way they show up or the way they do activism, which is why you have all these men who are quote on the left being the worst people on the internet in different ways. And the only reason Hasan gets away with it, though it won't last, I guarantee you, I predict it right now. Oh, there's going to be something. There's already something. There's already enough to me. But the fact that it isn't enough for you, you just wait. Because no man who has this reputation is clean. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's going to take. But I'm telling you right now, no way does Destiny, Vosh, all these people have shit. Ethan had shit on Reddit. You're telling me Hasan Piker doesn't, even though everything he's shown you tells it should have been enough? If other men had what Hasan had, it would have been enough for you. That's so interesting to me, how you let it pass with him. That's what I'm saying. Even every time I try to be good faith with Hasan, by the way, just so you know, I try to be so good faith with him, I keep going, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And I keep Googling about Hasan to prove to myself I'm wrong. And I just get literally reassured that I'm right. That's the problem. Why do I keep finding all these horrible things about Hasan Piker? And you guys keep saying, like, I don't know why you don't like him. But then when I tell you about it, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, there you go. Because every time I think, okay, maybe I'm the problem. Oops. Nope. I'm just right. My intuition's right. My data is correct. You know what I mean? Chess says, but what is it that keeps giving him the pass? People like the way he looks. That's not, guys, this is statistics. This is literally statistics. This is literally data. We've done studies on this about how people are treated better because of the way they look. That's why they want you to wear suits so they can decide to treat you better. That's why they want you to assimilate. That's why they want you to get rid of your ethnic clothes, your cultural clothes, the way you look, so they can decide to treat you better. That's why a look says, why would I want to take fashion advice from patriarchy? And it's because if a look would be treated better. People will tell a look, you deserve to be treated badly because of how you look. Because of how you dress yourself, because of how you present, you deserve to be treated badly.
You think that I'm absurd for being this, But isn't it absurd that you're afraid of colors?
They're literally like, why would you dress like that when you know people are going to hate you? Why would you choose to look like this when you know people are going to discriminate against you? Why would you have funny, hair colors if you know people are going to not give you jobs?
Isn't it like tragic that you think that if you have two prints that don't go along, you're going to melt? Power clashing is not an aesthetic, it's a way of living. It's actually about saying all these things, all these rules, they're not reality. Why would I take my style advice from patriarchy? You think.
This is what I'm telling you. We need this as the future, but when I present that, people go, Brittany, no one's going to buy into that. That's why in 2008, and around when we were talking about gay marriage for the time that it didn't pass, people tried to put in the front of the marketing the gays who were acceptable. Oh, I'm not like other gays. I'm a normal gay. I have a normal family in a nuclear home. I'm like a normal gay. Okay? Right? And so a look is trans, they're they, them, they are out here, they're fighting patriarchy. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying for all of us. That's why a lot of my youth, I had blue hair and piercings. And this is why conservatives, what's the first attack conservatives use? What's the first attack conservatives use? Blue-haired nose ring. So when I was in my 20s, I had blue hair and a nose ring. Because look at you trying to weaponize something that has no correlation to ethics, but instead symbolizes to other people that I am queer and that I am progressive. Right? And look, if I didn't have such bad allergies, I would have kept that nose ring, Well, my allergies were not going to help me, okay? So the point is that when we have these conversations about looking a particular way, do it because it's authentic to who you are, but always recognize that things are political. I would love to live in a world where I could get 100% behind a Hasan Piker, but I can't because he reminds me of every single guy who's ever been online, on the internet, a debate bro, a gamer, in politics, who just literally says it, tells you out loud, and you just don't believe him. Believe people when they tell you who they are. Hasan literally tells us every day who he is, and I keep trying to disprove again, I would love for him not to be. But he just is. Okay? And that's just what it is. So, okay, again, suits and white supremacy absolutely go hand in hand, but so does looking clean, so does specific grooming habits. Even you remember that sick woman who they don't believe in shaving their hair. Remember she had a beard and people were like, oh, like they were making fun of her and they were like, well, that's a stupid belief if it doesn't let you shave your beard. Like, you have to understand, these are adult people saying these things. These are grown-ups. My issue is not with children right now. My issue is grown-ups. We live in a world where grown-ups won't give a look a job because their hair is rainbow. We live in a world where adults won't give you a job unless you own a nice suit. We live in a world where the president of the United States and his bully cronies, can I use the word crony? Is that racist? I don't know. Bad guys, cronies. Okay? They make fun of Zelensky for not wearing a suit. Grown-ups. 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 And that's what I'm saying. Grown-ups, adults. And then Hasan Piker with his full chest says he's playing into it. Says he is trying to appeal to white supremacy. TMM's in the chat says I always wear a rainbow tie when I have to wear a suit so people don't think I'm a square. There you go. Whatever it takes, girls. Okay? So again, right? Chad says can't even get a job with natural black hair. I'm telling you. And this goes into white supremacy and racism as well. The military telling black people for years they couldn't wear their natural hair because it wasn't appropriate or it didn't look organized. So again, I say to you, you might not believe me, but you should believe him because he's telling you who he is with his full chest.
Are you trying to reclaim suits from white supremacists?
A little bit. I think Zoran definitely was impactful in that decision too. But the real reason why I do it is because I got clipped so much on Fox News that I was like, if I'm wearing a suit while I'm saying the things I'm saying, those grandmothers are probably going to be much more receptive. And it's literally worked.
There literally has been a positive impact of the suiting in terms of the things you say being accepted by more like mainstream America.
Yes. 100%. We're lizard brain people, man. At the end of the day, I think like when they see something that they find to be appealing, they lock in on it. They're far more receptive to what I have to say if I'm wearing a suit when I'm saying it.
Are you ever going to run for office?
Fuck no.
Why not?
Everybody always says this. Since I started wearing the suits, especially.
You look the part, dog.
Yeah, since I started wearing the suits, everyone's like, you're running for office. I'm like, no, I'm not. The serious response to it is like, I have so much more opportunity to promote people that come from this background, that have put in the work for years and years within, you know, Democratic Socialists of America and numerous other organizations, that I can be beneficial to like 50 races at the same time, as opposed to trying to run and maybe losing in one race. You know what I mean?
You're saying all races matter?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Okay? You might not believe me, but you should believe him. Again, he's trying to play the political game, and I think politics is where good people go to die. He's playing the political game, and I'm saying this game never works. This game never works. Appealing to white supremacy never fucking works. Making fascists comfortable never fucking works. Okay? Yes, be compassionate. Yes, be loving. But this isn't what that is to me. This is treating adults with kid gloves because you want them to take you seriously, when that shouldn't be the message we're sending to queer kids right now, especially during Pride Month. This shouldn't be the message we're sending to queer youth as they're being killed. This shouldn't be the message we're sending to people who exist in the world. The message we should be sending is you deserve dignity, no matter how eccentric you dress, no matter what the color of your hair is, no matter what the texture of your hair is. You are dignified, you are beautiful, and you are worthy. And that is not the message he is sending with this. He's sending literally the opposite message.